Good morning, brothers and sisters in America and all over the world. Welcome to our morning devotion today. And now, to start off our day, let us offer a bow to our heavenly parents and true parents. Chonjin, Champuonimke, Kimbe. Hello. And now for a family pledge, I'd like to invite Reverend Malhan.
가정맹세 1. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향당을 찾아 번연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천혜의급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 천혜의급 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Thank you, Reverend Malhan. And now for our opening prayer, I'd like to invite Mr. Greg Jones to open up our morning devotion today.
Let us pray. Our dearest Heavenly Parent, we greet you this new day, this new morning of November 5th, 2021. Thank you for the opportunity to attend the morning devotion this morning with Dr. Yong and all the brothers and sisters here on this call and on all the different media. We are grateful that we can prioritize our life to put you first by attending morning devotion and aligning our hearts and minds with your word as we begin this new day. We want to seek your voice for this day, for our own lives, personal lives, and receive guidance that we can take step by step in our own life to move our things and our providence forward around us. We appreciate our true mother who is leading the world in cosmic level providence. We pray for her energy, her life, her health, and that we can attend and participate with her in the great work of restoration. Thank you for this new day, and please bless each brother and sister on the call with us and all brothers and sisters, wherever they may be, that we can all have a unified heart together and we can reach out to those who are not really participating so much at this time. Please, we want to attend well this morning and really focus our mind so we can really listen and be attentive this morning for your word and your guidance. We thank you so much for this day. We're grateful for all that you give to us and all of our beautiful creation around us and brothers and sisters around us. We offer this new day. Now report this as Greg Hyojeong's family, a blessed central family. Aju.
Aju, thank you so much, Reverend Greg Jones and Kyoho-sang. I think, Greg, wow, your faces look so young, but your hair color, you need to be changed. You are a handsome man, actually. Thank you so much for your beautiful prayer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John's couple, for sharing this prayer with us this morning. And now it is time to go into our breakout rooms for our gratitude. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for taking this time to share your gratitudes with each other. It's always such a great practice to start the day with gratitude. So for our first sharing, I wanted to invite Mrs. Ndasi to share her gratitudes. Please unmute yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Yong. I'm so grateful this morning for Heavenly Parents, true parents, and the spirit world. I touched my Zoom room late because Diane was on my page. So I said, okay, let me touch it and go to my room. And then all of a sudden, she showed up again in my page. I was like, what happened? I thought my phone was frozen, but she was in my room. So it really brought me so much joy because yesterday and day before yesterday has been so much difficult for me. My spirit was so low, because there's a decision I have to make for Heavenly Parent and true parent. And Satan just kept bringing my spirit low and just pushing me so that I should not make a good decision. But I kept pushing, and then I get attacked from home with my husband. We even fight a little, and then my children. And at work, it was just so terrible. Everybody was just so negative towards me. But I said, no, Satan, I am not giving in. I have morning devotion. I have Reverend Young. No way. Gone are those days he used to bring me down. So I have to be positive. And I stayed all the way positive. And I had a beautiful dream yesterday, Heavenly Parent telling me, I saw Sanjanim and her husband coming to my home to have a dinner. And we had some game behind my house. The dream was so beautiful. And I just felt like Heavenly Parent telling me, I'm with you. Don't even worry. And then I saw Sister Diane also in my call today. I'm like, it just reminded me, Heavenly Parent is telling me, keep going strong. Don't give in Satan. Just keep staying positive. So I'm so grateful, Heavenly Parent, because of morning devotion, Heavenly Parent can see us now, directly communicate with us. Thank you so much, Reverend Young, for this morning.
Keep going strong, Nasi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dusty, for sharing your gratitudes. It was so great seeing you in the breakout room with your bright smile and positivity. Thank you. And now for our next sharing, I wanted to invite the Ogden's couple to share their gratitudes. Please unmute.
Wow. Good morning, community. Thanks so much. It's amazing. God is, just like Nadasi said, God is fully aware of our situation the whole time. Me too, recently, it's been hard to keep my spirit up. One of our children has some special needs, and it's just been such a challenge every day. And then yesterday, there in the breakout room, Dr. Yong appeared, and you just feel that God is fully aware. He comforted my heart and gave guidance on, to keep going. So God is watching us no matter what, no matter what situation we're in. He's there, actually, calling for us, wishing for us to do well and to go forward and to bring victory. So it really gives me confidence that we can bring success. And I'm so grateful too. I mentioned to Milham for Divine Principle. I'm so grateful that it was included in the morning devotion. Divine Principle transformed my life. When I heard Divine Principle in the beginning, I just couldn't understand why nobody taught me this at school. It was the one thing I needed in high school. When we were pretty wild, we were trying to find out why the world was in such a mess. And Divine Principle answered all the questions. It's really the deepest explanation of the human condition and of God's phenomenal heart to transform love on this earth, right? So I'm so grateful that we're studying Divine Principle. And I was grateful to Milhan. He shared about President Narakimi's great effort meeting with the young second gen and making a plan. And that's what we talked about in yesterday's morning devotion with Dr. Yong, about making a plan. It doesn't matter if it's the right plan, but make the plan, and invest in the plan, and God will eventually take over the plan because he's with us every day. He will lead us and bring success. So
Beautiful. Maria?
I feel I have many things to say, but it's not easy for me to speak. Well, I remember in the past, talk about the past, about when I grew up, I see my mother. She was very, very faithful Catholic. And I saw who always do devotion. She has one devotion of 90 days with the divine spirit. They did have that. They did have the start of the divine spirit was like a dove, and she has the start, and she has to make out time and pray this because for her was the divine spirit, and she make this devotion, give people 90 days prayer, and then at the end of the day, the last day, give a food. Make a food, make altar with a picture of saints she believed. Divine Spirit was the first. And I grew up with a mind, where is God? I want to know more about God. And then when I grow up, I say the reason I come into America because I live from home. My mother becomes sick, and I live from home to fight God. And when I get in the city with one sister, one friend, and then I get job, and finally I get a person invite me to go to the 7 days workshop. And then there was I feel I find God really give it to me what I ask. One day, desperation of my heart, all my heart I pray, God, please guide me. I don't want to follow in a bad way. And then I meet a person, they invite me to workshop. And then I feel I really find God in that.
Wow, great. Thank you.
It's amazing.
Amazing, beautiful testimony. Kid and Maria Ogden. Thank you so much. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Ogden couple, for sharing your gratitude for this morning. And now it is time for internal guidance. So please let us welcome Dr. Yong.
안녕하세요. Good morning, good morning. My dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassador for peace, 안녕하십니까? Yesterday, I flew to Boise, Idaho, and prayed at the Holy Ground with David, Valerie Ryan, District 13 leader, and also the David Yoko Roberts, Idaho state leader. Yeah, they came to the airport and welcome us. Wow, this, Idaho, very, very beautiful place. And our state leader and then also district leader, both of them, David. So David Providence. And then we had a beautiful gathering and prayed together at the Holy Ground. Good photo. And then we had a lunch meeting at the Grove Hotel where True Father spoke during the 50 state tour in 2001. Very beautiful environment. And after lunch, we flew to Missoula, Montana, and arrived here last night. Today, I'd like to speak with the title, The Cape of Good Hope and Righteous Hyojeong, from the contents of True Mother's memoir. Please, Heavenly Honey.
I have long had an interest in and compassion for Africa. The hardships of life in Africa must come to an end. On the southern tip of the African continent lies the Cape of Good Hope. My husband and I chose that as the starting point of our proposed international peace highway. As the mother of peace, I need to give hope to the people of Africa and wipe away their tears. At the holy wedding of true parents in 1960, I pledged to God, I will accomplish your will in my lifetime. And I have not forgotten this pledge for a moment. I have constantly spread God's word from east to west and south to north with a heart of filial piety for heaven. In 2012, after my husband's ascension, I bade him farewell with the words, please put all earthly work behind you and peacefully enter the heavenly gates to comfort our heavenly parent. From that time, despite having to push myself beyond my limits, I took on an exhausting agenda, traveling the globe to fulfill the promise I had made to heaven and my husband. With my husband's ascension, it was left for me to accomplish God's desire and ideal, and I have embarked on a tearful journey for that cause. For the past 7 years, I have journeyed on. Creating a heavenly tribe, a heavenly nation, and a heavenly world centered on God is not simple. In my resolve to restore 7 countries by 2020, I spent countless hours in prayer and devotion. My late husband lived by the mantra that sincere devotion moves heaven, and we felt the results. Many received inspiration from heaven, including Dr. Yong Ho, then Secretary General of FFWPU International Headquarters. In July 2017, he received a revelation in which Father Moon gave him 3 golden keys.
Thank you, Heavenly Honey. True Mother said in 2012, after my husband's ascension, I bade him farewell with the words, please put all earthly work behind you and peacefully enter the heavenly gates to comfort our heavenly parent. At the holy wedding of true parents in 1960, I pledged to God, I will accomplish your will in my lifetime. And I have not forgotten this pledge for a moment. True Mother's promise to God, I will accomplish your will in my lifetime, has now become our decision. And it is time for us to fulfill True Mother's wish in the age of children. Also, True Mother said, from that time, despite having to push myself beyond my limits, I took on an exhausting agenda traveling the globe to fulfill the promise I had made to heaven and my husband. With my husband's ascension, it was left to me to accomplish God's desire and ideal. I have embarked on a tearful journey for that cause. What was it that allowed True Mothers to walk the path of tears while overcoming countless hardships and overcoming physical limitations? I think about that a lot. I think this is because True Mother herself has a sense of mission. I'm talking about here her sense of mission to be born as the only begotten daughter in order to fulfill the will of heaven. A sense of mission for the will of heavenly parents makes that person very, very strong. Therefore, as a blessed family, we must also lay down our responsibilities and have a sense of the mission like a true mother. I came to United States with a responsibility as the Continental Director of North America. All the sense of the mission of taking responsibility for the salvation of the 360 million people is under unimaginable spiritual pressure. I think that this mission contributes to work of true parents and God. And I go further and work with all the ancestors in North America. I feel unimaginable energy when I think that I am helping the people to participate in God's will. Then that sense of mission becomes my strength. My brothers and sisters, really, this is an important point. We always need to feel the sense of our own portion of responsibility. When we recognize our own sense of our own portion of responsibility, I can be more responsible. I can be more serious, even control my physical limitation. Even I am really unworthy the person. And I am not great leader. However, whenever I think about a mother, how much a mother she feel like a pressure, she plays every day. She want to finish everything within her lifetime. So for me, as a Continental Director, whenever I think the sense of my own portion of responsibility as a Continental Director, I always feel that I not belong to my own self. Really, the sense of responsibility make me wake up all the time. I cannot spend my own time just for my own self at all. For 24 hours, the time of the offering. If the offering condition invaded by Satan, oh my goodness, influence entire North America. So offering cannot say any complaint, cannot say I am tired. Wow, I realized that this is the life of offering. Whenever I feel the sense of my own responsibility, always makes me so tense. And then no time to get sick as well. So when I think about the true father and mother, their entire life or something like that, if they lose the sense of their own portion of responsibility as the Messiah, as a begotten son and begotten daughter, what will happen? That's why how to aware of my own sense of my own portion of responsibility. When I go to spiritual world in the distant future, I want to live without being accused of by some political or religious leaders who have historically been loyal in North America. I want to live with the idea of loving and serving this country more than any president and more than any political leaders, more than George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. Going further, so when I communicate, while I am praying, and Father really encouraged me. He asked me to really work harder than him. And my dad is really, true parents. So how much he loves me, at the same time, I realize that how much he pushing me, because I not belong to my own. Okay, next content.
At that time, Dr. Yong was preparing for several events simultaneously, including Europe's Peace Starts With Me Rally of Hope in Vienna, Austria, and the Latin America Summit 2018 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. After hearing his report about the dream, I invited 3 Golden Keys, 3 religious leaders, to attend the upcoming Peace Starts With Me festival in the United States. The 3 were Sheikh Mansour Diop of Senegal, Prophet Samuel Hadabe of South Africa, and Archbishop Johannes Ndanga of Zimbabwe. During the festival in New York, we forged strong relationships that laid the foundation for what was to come.
Yeah, thank you. When mother make up her mind to fulfill her mission within her lifetime, definitely there are, perfect minus up here. Perfect plus create perfect minus. As much as she determines something to fulfill God's will, definitely some object partner appear and support through mother. That's why through mother talking about the 3 here are very important religious leaders figure. We can share more details tomorrow. Living divine principle today, again, I'm talking about human fall and ignorance. Heavenly Honey, please.
Human fall and ignorance. Considered from the viewpoint of the intellect, the human fall represents humanity's descent into ignorance. People are composed of 2 aspects, internal and external, or mind and body. Likewise, the intellect consists of 2 aspects, internal and external. In the same way, there are 2 types of ignorance, internal ignorance and external ignorance. Internal ignorance, in religious terms, is spiritual ignorance. It is ignorance of such questions as, what is the origin of human beings? What is the purpose of life? What happens after death? Do God and the next world exist? What is the nature of good and evil? External ignorance refers to ignorance of the natural world, including the human body. It is ignorance of such issues as, what is the origin of the physical universe? What are the natural laws governing all phenomena? From the dawn of history until today, human beings have ceaselessly searched for the truth with which to overcome both types of ignorance and attain knowledge. Humanity through religion has followed the path of searching for internal truth, and through science has followed the path of seeking external truth. Religion and science, each in its own sphere, have been the methods of searching for truth in order to conquer ignorance and attain knowledge. Eventually, the way of religion and the way of science should be integrated and their problems resolved in one united undertaking. The 2 aspects of truth, internal and external, should develop in full consonance. Only then, completely liberated from ignorance and living solely in goodness in accord with the desires of the original mind, will we enjoy eternal happiness.
Okay, based on we are talking about ignorance, let's study from Father's word.
No one knows they are committing historical sins because of ignorance. There is the path people find and the path where God finds a human. What I came to understand is that it is hundreds and thousands of times harder for God to enter the human world and find a path than for humans to find God. After knowing this, I cannot pray. I couldn't pray. I could not pray, God, please help us. Do you know what kind of mind this is? No matter if I face death, I don't complain. I prayed, I have no fear, no worry. Thinking of this, the main point I'm talking about today is God's efforts and human ignorance. You have to know how many times God is driven out, even after making God go through millions of hardships when humans become ignorant. Do you understand what I am saying?
Yes, thank you. Yesterday, we read this content, but I did not explain because we don't have much time. True Father said there is the path people find, and the path where God finds a human. What I came to understand is that it is hundreds and thousands of times harder for God to enter human world and find a path than for humans to find God. Father said, after knowing this, I cannot pray. What does it mean? Even if God wants to visit humans, He wants to visit each one of the human beings. God cannot deal with such a human as long as humans are fickle, so much changeable, and have two minds. Even if God visits us countless times, as long as humans serve two masters, only when they have a good mind will work. If humans serve two masters and two kinds of mind, God can do nothing. We need to know that. God is God. God is absolute God. God only can intervene, only one condition. When you make a good condition, then God only can relate to you. But you are always compromising together, so much changeable, sometimes relate to God, sometimes relate to Satan, sometimes did not searching for God. And then God cannot find, any space He can come to my heart. God cannot compromise with evil. That's why here talking about. Therefore, it is said that the way for humans to seek God is faster. This is because if man separate good and evil and achieves a unity of the mind and body, God can come to him at any time. God is working very hard for me, but because I am ignorant of God and cannot separate good and evil, God is paying for me an indemnity that I cannot imagine. That's why True Father said, you have to know how many times God is driven out, even after making God go through millions of hardships when humans become ignorant. Wow. God is ready. Anytime can come to my heart. But he tried to come, but human being, you need to open the door. Your mind should be open. Your mind should be ready. But you are really, mixing together and compromising together with the good and evil. Then no, God cannot do anything about that. That's why Father is saying that human to search for God by human being it is much faster than God is really trying to come to human being. We do not know because we are so much ignorant. Okay, continue.
Who is God? He is our Father. How pitiful is the God who carries such a heart toward every single one of the 4 billion, now 7.8 billion people. How pitiful he is. Consequently, God erected Noah, but he failed. Erected Abraham, but he failed too. That took 404,000 years. However, in the world of God's heart, it is proportional to hundreds of billions of years. You must know this.
Thank you, Heavenly Honey. God is wanting for the heart of every single one of these 7.8 billion people to open up. He went out and tried to looking for them many, many times. But because the door was shut, he kept returning. Some people have never left the door to their heart open even once in their lifetime. Oh my God. Although God goes out to look for them thousands of times, but cannot enter inside them. How pitiful he must be. Can you imagine that? Someone was born as a human being. His door completely shut down. Never open even one time. God can intervene. Never open even one time. And completely deny and ignore, God's existence. God, but waiting and waiting, he continuously beside me and surround me and then find a way. When is the best time to enter in my heart? He has that kind of approach to each one of the human being. Can you imagine that? That is the heart of God. How much do you open the door of your heart and mind to welcome him? How much? This is the issue. We cannot accuse God anymore. We cannot say he does not help me. This is really amazing guidance by God. Continue.
Everyone enters Unification Church for 1 or 2 years, then oppose, saying, I'm leaving the church. Reverend Moon is like this and that. Even though the whole universe welcomed you when you joined the church, you failed to recognize and betray it. You must know how great and enormous the retribution and indemnity conditions you shoulder are. You failed to think of this. It is because of ignorance. Because of ignorance, no one knows they are committing deadly sins, historical sins.
Wow. My joining the Unification Church came as a fruit of 6,000 years of history. I also came in on behalf of all of my ancestors. It is said that at least 20,000 spirits, my ancestor spirit, follow each Unification Church member. They follow me in order to receive salvation. We have no idea how long they have waited to receive salvation. Some spirits have waited for thousands of years, and the other have waited hundreds of years before they finally met me. If that spirit already died, our ancestor spirit, mean unificationist and have hopes of salvation, but give up halfway through, those spirits must find a new person all over again. Looking at this face, I am not alone. I have the mission of a Messiah to save more than 20,000 spirits. True Father said, when you oppose the church and leave, you don't know how big the indemnity and punishments are. Because of ignorance, no one knows they are committing deadly sins, historical sins, just as our Father said. Moreover, if you betray true parents and leave, you will regret it for eternity. The sin of all sins is betraying one's parents. Most of the people who left halfway through left because among their own ancestors, there was an ancestor that betrayed. However, if I do not overcome this, the fact is that it will remain a weighted indemnity for my descendants again. Wow, incredible. Again.
Everyone, do not be ignorant. One cannot know when fate will pass me by. At times when people pass by, they give me news of fortune. At times, I hear new news from the passing wind. Everything has ties with me. Everything has either a good or a bad tie with me. Thus, I distinguish bad ties, and as for the good ties, you must think of catching it all from the whole universe. Such a person will develop every day anywhere he goes. As 10 years pass, the spirit develops that much more, gradually becoming deeper. When first entering the Unification Church and hearing the principle, you thought, this is it. Wow, exciting. But if that good gradually withers, it is wrong. Such a person isn't one who pursues truth or the world of knowledge, but one who pursues the world of ignorance, the world of ignorance.
Thank you. If this one is really touching me and then change my attitude, Father talking about, everything has ties with me. There is a Korean saying that means even though you just quickly brush by other people, they will somehow become a part of your destiny. Think that all the relationships you meet are predestined and prepared by God. If I think everything as like a coincidence, it will have no relation with me. Everything has either a good or a bad tie with me. Therefore, you must distinguish them very well. This is my portion of responsibility. To form good ties, I must value all things I deal with. Also, I also value and serve all the people I deal with. If you do not do that, you will have a good ties. If you do that well, and you have good ties. Heavenly fortune comes from valuing all things, and it comes from valuing each and every person. You must know that the channel through which heavenly fortune comes must come through all things and people. Therefore, since you do not know when or through whom they will come, you should value everyone and serve them. This kind of person will always develop, Father talking about. This very important guidance. Human beings do not know what the channel of the blessing. Heavenly blessing, heavenly fortune comes from all things. Another channel comes from each one of the human beings. That's why whenever I meet any people, Whenever I deal with any old things, we do not know what kind of the fortune will come. Sometimes bad, sometimes good. That's why we need to distinguish very well. However, when you deal with each one of the old things, eating, sleeping, whatever, any materials, treat it very preciously, very valuably. Anyone come to me, we need to think that God sent him to me and attend him, serve him, take care of him very, very well. This is the way to receive heavenly blessing. Very important guidance, right? Today's youth ministry, the meeting of the dove sent out 3 times to Noah's family. Also very important guidance. Let's learn from Noah's family. The meaning of the dove sent out 3 times to Noah's family, we know through the Bible very, very well. No? It is said that Noah's family sent out a dove from the ark 3 times. The first time, the dove returned without finding a place to land. The first dove symbolized Adam, so it means the formation dove. The second time Noah sent out the first dove again, same dove, okay? That time, it is said that he sent out a different dove. Originally, if Adam and Eve has not fallen, one dove was supposed to make it to the end. If Adam and Eve had not fallen, they would have formed a couple as soon as they pass the top of the growth stage and be perfected to the end. Adam goes out alone as a single person until top of the growth stage, but from the completion stage, the word single person disappears and is the start of the bride and groom or husband and wife. They start from the position of a couple, therefore the formation stage, growth stage are the same dove. But with completion signifying a new start, it is symbolized by a different dove. Formation and growth stage are the same person, they are the same dove. However, the completion stage is not the same person from the formation stage and growth stage. The completion stage is completed together as a husband and wife. The time when Adam and Eve fell from the top of the growth stage was a time of the blessing. When it says that Adam and Eve were immature, it does not refer to their physical age. It means the immaturity of the internal, artistic relationship with God. Even our life of faith, men and women fall into temptation during the age of getting married. If you make effort and endure just a little bit more, you can create a good family. However, if you fall into temptation, your direction will change. In this way, the time of completion controls your fate. If you look at the fall of Adam and Eve, they were almost complete. If you don't reach the completion stage, how will you fall? When an apple is picked, it means that it is already ripe. No one picks things that cannot be eaten. When God saw Adam and Eve mature externally, he was worried because of the archangel's temptation, but at the same time, think about how excited he must have been. When you reach the top of the growth stage, you mature internally and externally, so there will surely be temptation. Even when you look at a fruit, when you pick it, when it looks both eye-catching and delicious. When God was about to bless Adam and Eve, the archangel took the opportunity and seized them. In Noah's family, the formation stage and growth stage, those were the same. The third time was a different dove. And the fact that it did not return has an important meaning. Why did it not return? In the formation stage and growth stage, men and women each grow separately. Man as man and woman as women. But in the completion stage, they establish a family and settle down. No need to come back. Although the Old Testament is symbolically recorded, there is always an allusion. There is an unchangeable principle implied. That's why really Bible is a revelation. Very important. People grow through the three stages. The dove is a symbol of life. The dove is also a symbol of peace, a symbol of love, and a symbol of purity. We all have a dove of love in our arms. Let me make conclusion. We are growing until top of the growth stage as a man, as a tree of life. As a woman, you need to grow up until top of the growth stage as a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Separately, okay, as a man and as a woman, and growing until top of the growth stage, right? As an individual tree. Was the tree of the man's was the tree of a man? That is the tree of life. Was the tree of a woman? That is the tree of the knowledge, good and evil. And growing until top of the growth stage. That is already the right time to receive the blessing from heaven. And then, when Adam and Eve received the blessing by heavenly parents, then no more individual tree, okay? They become tree of love. Love definitely require object partner, right? You cannot make love by alone. That's why individual tree meet each other and become couple, and they become the tree of love. And then as a husband and wife make relationship with each other, really love each other, and then produce what? Produce a descendant, which is a blood lineage. Finally become tree of blood lineage. Three process we need to go. Tree of life, tree of love, and finally, tree of blood lineage. That was God's plan. But God showed through the Adam's family, through three kind of sending the three times to Noah's family. This is the Bible. It's amazing, isn't it? My brothers and sisters, we need to become dove, true dove, before receiving blessing. We need to really pure, we have to be pure dove. Nothing relate to, any boy and girls. Keep absolute purity. You need to be very, very pure dove as a man, as a woman, until top of the growth stage. And then when man and woman receive the blessing by God, and then you have to become dove of love. Dove of love as a bride and bridegroom, as a couple. And then finally, you have to be dove of what? Blood lineage. You need to produce God's blood lineage. This is our life course. God already showed in Adam's family and also in Noah's family. This is amazing guidance. Show us what is the process of our life, how to complete our life. It is really incredible guidance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yong, for today's internal guidance. I'm so amazed. The tree of life, tree of love, and tree of blood lineage. That's amazing teachings. Like I personally didn't know about it, but yes, thank you so much for giving us this internal guidance for today and really how to break free from ignorance. And so now, brothers and sisters, now that we've received such amazing content, please let us go into our breakouts and really share with each other. And yeah, we'll see you back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope your breakout rooms were amazing. I know mine was filled with wisdom. And so for our first sharing, for our first reflection today, I'd like to invite on Anne-Marie Myler to share her reflection. Please.
Hi, everyone. I was telling Diane, you know, the teaching that we are receiving through Dr. Yong is just plain amazing and necessary. And I was also telling her that ignorance, we are ignorant because we are arrogant. We think we know everything as human beings, so therefore we don't need to listen to anyone. However, if we don't listen and pay attention, then we don't even know what we're missing. We can dismiss something. We can dismiss a truth. We can dismiss what is being told to us, but not before we listen to it and pay attention to it. And then only then, if we feel it's not for us, then we can dismiss it. But we dismiss things even before listening to them. So paying attention to the teaching of Dr. Yong, in my opinion, is extremely necessary for the sake of our own personal lives and the sake of this country and the sake of the world. I am, you know, Dr. Yong is a tool. It's God's tool today to reach us, you know, and I said it once before. I said, you know, that tool is not going to come back again. So I want us to be able to pay attention to that teaching because it's so important. And then once we understand, then we choose the path forward. But we can't choose the path forward if we don't know what we're supposed to know. So,
Yeah,
so it's
beautiful.
It's precious.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. I completely agree with you that ignorance comes from arrogance. If you are arrogant, you do not listen and become more stubborn. Wow, that's why how can we really deny ourselves and become humble? We can listen from anyone, from God and from Abel. Even though we are listening again and again, we do not practice it and then we do not know. If we know, then surely we'll practice. Surely I will change our life of faith. So far, you do not change your life of faith. You may be intellectually understand. That means you do not know. Without take action, that means you do not know. You are still under the ignorance. That's why you are sharing, I really agree with you. And yesterday I got a very beautiful communication with African second generation. And then African second generation, she's saying that she want to really communicate with me, but I seldom watch Facebook, but she continuously keep on sending message to me that she said, now Africa region 5, entire Africa region 5, they determined to attend the American morning devotion already 40 times. I say, how many people are watching them? Most of them, they are watching. How about second generation? Many of them, most of the second generation are watching not only sub-region 5 and other area. So she really appreciated. I did not know that much. Really, God's word is so powerful, not because of Dr. Yong guidance or Dr. Yong expressed very well. It does not matter. Truth itself is so powerful.
Right.
Father's word, mother's word, because they show their actual life, not just only talking about. That's why the word itself is so powerful. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for sharing. Our Anne-Marie, 감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna and Marie, for sharing. Always wise to hear from you. And wow, that's so incredible to hear that, you know, the African second gens are watching. And actually for the second sharing, I just wanted to share really quickly about today's guidance, because I feel like it's really so deep and really it goes out to also a second generation, you know. I think even speaking for myself, you know, sometimes we can be very ignorant and very arrogant, you know, especially to our elders or our parents, you know, really thinking that, oh, we know everything. But, you know, the truth being, I feel that with this guidance, it really means that, you know, we have to put our ignorance and really our arrogance on the side. And that's the only time that God can really, you know, come into our hearts. And the moment that we let go of ignorance, that's when we open the door for God to come in. And, you know, from my own experience, I can feel that, you know, really like being aware of God's presence and really understanding that I don't know everything, you know, like God knows everything. I don't know anything. I think that's when really God came into my heart because I was able to let go of, you know, that arrogance. I'm still learning, but I think with this guidance, I'm really grateful for Dr. Yong. So thank you for.
Oh, Diane, I'd like to mention one thing. My brothers and sisters, today, 5th of November, you know, we are very much praying for Mother's coming. Yeah, I think our longing heart need to reach to Mother. So my dear brothers and sisters, I really want to encourage each one of you, please do all your best for true mothers coming to America. She surely will come. Yeah. And then, you know, Mother is, when I attend Mother, I know Mother, how much she's so sensitive. She knows and she recognizes how much we are putting Jeongseong. And she just look at anyone, she knows that how much does that boy and does that girl long for Mother, because Mother is a champion of true love. She can smell it, she can touch it, she can notice it, everything. I think that is our true Mother. So as a sons and daughters, let's prepare very, very well for our beloved true Mother trip to America. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And adieu. Let us become the tree of true love to receive true mother.
Today also happy True Children's Day. Thank you.
Oh yes, happy True Children's Day. I forgot to mention that. Happy True Children's Day, everyone. And yes, I hope you can celebrate at home. And for our reminders, please let us come 8 to 10 every day, because this is such a great environment. And we know that everyone from around the world is really attending with one heart, especially supporting, you know, Dr. Yong and really supporting true parents. And you can also joyfully give from your heart. We do have the link in the chat and on Facebook. And for a musical offering, I believe we have Uncle John Kirkley. So please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me, Diane?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Kenya. Mr. Kenya.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Kenya.
Yes. I'm enjoying afternoon heart devotion. It's 1 o'clock till 2:30 here. So I am somewhat dismayed that after a year, when we're all supposed to learn Korean, people are still saying Dr. Young instead of Dr. Yong. But again, I've got a song for Dr. Yong. I've been promising Jackson Bowman a Canadian song, but this one requires a bit of a preface. Like most white Americans, when I joined the Unification Church, this is true confession time, and maybe you have to ask for a show of hands. But basically, all Asians looked alike. Black hair, brown eyes, they all looked alike. After a few years in the Unification Church, I could distinguish Koreans, Japanese, Chinese. And if I met an Oriental, I could say, oh, you're Korean or you're Chinese. And but if I couldn't recognize them, it meant they were from Cambodia or Vietnam or the Philippines or some other place. So this is a preface to this song, because this song was written by a Canadian man, a very intelligent man, a very well-dressed man, because his father was a tailor. So unlike Joan Baez and Bob Dylan and the other great singers of the day, this man was a bit different. And the song is basically a patchwork of images. And it takes a lot of time it talks about the interplay between the sensual and the spiritual. When I first heard this song, I played it over and over and over until I memorized it. And there's a rumor that the author, Leonard Cohen, actually met Oni Durst. And if you think about that, and if you think about the Moonies of the day and what a meeting with someone like Oni Durst would mean for a white Western North American person, it results in this song.
Thank you.
Suzanne takes you down to a place by the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can't spend the night beside her. And you know that she's half crazy. That's why you want to be there. And she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China. And just when you want to tell her that you have no love to give her, she gets you on her wavelength and lets the river answer that you've always been her lover. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust her, for she's touched your perfect body with her mind. And Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water, and he spent a long time watching from his lonely wooden tower. And just when he knew for certain only drowning men could see him, he said, all men shall be sailors then, until the sea shall free them. But he himself was broken long before the sky would open. Forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath our wisdom like a stone. But you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust him, for he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Suzanne takes your hand and she leads you to the river. She is wearing rags and feathers from Salvation Army counters, and the sun pours down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor, and she shows you where to look amid the garbage and the flowers. There are heroes in the seaweed. There are children in the morning. They're leaning out for love, and they will lean that way forever while Suzanne holds the mirror. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe she'll trust you, for you've touched her perfect body with your mind. Kamsahamnida.
Wow, this long travel song. Thank you so much for putting your effort. Anyway, Dr. Cockley, I love your polo t-shirts. You become more younger now since you went to Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle John Kirkley, for sharing your song with us. And yes, Africa has that effect on you. It makes you very young. So it's nice to see you. And now for our closing prayer, I'd like to invite Uncle Bob and Aunt Angelica Sally to close.
Okay, you go.
Wow, our Angelica. Wow.
Good morning. 안녕하십니까. Our beloved Heavenly Parent, our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. We are just so enriched again this morning with your word, with your love, because word is love, and love is the word, true love. And we feel we can resurrect every day with this word. And I pray that we can take it to heart, internalize it, and practice it, so we can become more and more in your image. So you have a place, Heavenly Parent. We want to create a place for you to be with us every moment, every hour, every day, so that you cannot be lonely anymore. We want to comfort your heart and really care about you like we care about other persons, because you are the most neglected person in the universe. You're the most shunned person in the universe. And we are so sorry about that, Heavenly Parent. But today and every day, we will bring you in more and more in our own hearts and make spaces in many people's hearts so that you can have a home in each house, in each family, and in this country of America and in the world. We send our love to our beloved true mother, who is standing strong, and she will never stop. She will never give up until the work is done. And we are with her, Heavenly Parent. We're with Dr. Yong. We're with each other. We're here, the Heavenly Parents, holy community that will be established absolutely on the face of this earth with your power and with our hands in our hearts, in our unity. And we thank you once again for this wonderful Children's Day 2021. And truly, we want to be loyal sons and daughters to you that you can be proud of, that you can show off, that you can be so happy with. And we offer this time to you and this whole day and our lives. In our names we pray, bless central families, couples, and tribes. Aju.
Aju. Thank you, Angelica. Angelica, you need to appreciate the robot, because robot, he is the one who make very young.
Yes, I know that.
Forever young. So that's why you need to appreciate your husband all the time.
I do.
Yeah.
And he's my secret.
Yeah.
And she's mine.
Oh, so beautiful. I love seeing couple. I love, but yeah, thank you for closing with the prayer, the Sally couple. And yes, brothers and sisters, it is time to end our morning devotion today. Happy True Children's Day. And yes, we will see you tomorrow.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Happy Children's Day.
Happy True Children's Day.
Bye, Dr. Young.